So should you use ladders doing tree work? Well, that's an interesting topic, and I'd like to discuss it. And this video is about using ladders on a very difficult job. Yeah, we got an interesting job today. We've got tile roofs on both sides. We've got basically three dead birch trees. This is a double trunk. This one over here is just covered with fungus, so we know this thing is ready to break. There's no way I'm going to climb that thing. These trees are dead, and we know that birch trees get rotten quickly when they die. But on inspecting this tree, I don't see any of the fungus, and I do see a little tiny bit of green here. So there's still some moisture in here. I'm guessing that these two trunks here, these 2 leaders, have died recently. So our challenge, while they're not huge trees, our challenge is to get all this down without breaking the tiles. So I opted to get ladders in here, starting off with the fruit ladder. We've got some tricky roping we're going to do here today. You know, I titled this video, Ladder Accidents in Tree Work. And I'll bet a lot of you guys came here to see all kinds of stupid things happen, guys falling off ladders. But what I really want to talk about is how to safely use ladders in situations where you don't have an option. You ready? Yes. Okay. Now the idea here is I'm going to cut it slow. I'm not going to cut a back cut on it. I want it to break, and fall into that hinge up there, into that Y. And then we'll take pieces out. So these trees are too dead, too dangerous to climb. So we're using the ladders to set our ropes and work off of the ladders in a way that the ladder takes up all of our weight. We are tying the ladders to the trees as needed, and in this case, we're dropping one of the trees into a Y on the other side after I've already tied off the top. Jorge's doing the lowering, and I'm cutting it in such a way that it'll fall down. I left the fruit ladder there because I wanted to drag it down the fruit ladder to keep it from banging into the tiles. Down. Hold tight. Okay. Grab that in. Good job. So we got that one out of the way. That was easy. But now we've got this. And we thought it through. We had a whole bunch of decisions, different ideas. And here's the way that I think we should do it. I think first off, let's get rid of that one because we got the rope set up there. I'll put the ring up a little bit higher, and we can swing it over and then lower it down. That way it clears all that. Then we're going to put a 32-foot ladder up on the back side and tie it up to the top up there. Tie the ladder to the tree, but be tied in over on this side. It gives a little more stability. And then go up as high as we can and do a lot of individual roping and piece that one down. And then we're going to bring the 32-foot ladder back here and put it up as high as we can. And once again, tie the ladder to the tree and go up to the top and do the same thing, just chunk, and then, piece it all the way down. If everything goes right, we should be out of here by lunchtime, maybe. It's about okay, I'm up in the tree. I have not made any big cuts yet, and I wanted to identify, there's 3 small cracks there, 4 a moderately large crack over that way. So I started off with a fruit ladder on the one side, and I had it tied securely to the tree, and I was able to get everything that I needed out of the way for those few cuts. And then we made the decision to go to the big ladder. This ladder is enormous. It's extremely heavy. It's really hard to work with. And I want you to note that in the placement of the ladder on the tree, we tried really hard to get it to fit on two different locations. You can see up high there and down a little bit lower. So it's actually stabilized. It's not going to rotate. I did tie into the other tree, and I went up to the top of this tree and I tied the ladder securely to this dead birch tree. And this is another position. We had to kind of work it in a couple of different locations here. There you can see how I securely tied it up on the top, and I'm working off of this ladder at about, I was probably 30 feet or so. It's a 30, well, it wouldn't be quite that high. It's probably about 25 feet. But, getting up the ladder here, I've got my rope tied to the other tree. That stabilizes me. I'm always leery of ladders. I feel better on the fruit ladder because it's got that stabilizing leg. But when you lean a ladder up against the tree, the potential for an accident is very, very real. And if you look on the internet, you'll see so many accidents of people flip-flopping on ladders or having the piece of wood come down and smack the ladder out from underneath them. And you have to remember that a ladder is like any other tool. If it's used improperly, it can be dangerous. But in our case, we need ladders for occasional jobs like this dead birch situation. There's no way I'm going to climb these dead birches. You have to understand that birch trees rot quickly when they die. Now, the tree on the left here, the double trunk tree, it still had some dead leaves on it and a little tiny bit of green down low. So I knew that tree was quite a bit stronger than the first one that we dropped. The first one was very, very light. It was like paper. I didn't feel good about that tree at all, and that's why I took it in one big piece. But up here, I didn't want to be on that birch tree knowing that the potential for a complete and total fracture is real. So as it is, I'm still in a fairly precarious position. I do have myself tied to the other leader, but both of these trees are dead. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of balancing things out. I've got the ladder tied to the tree. I've got my flip line on the tree. I've got an additional rope off of the other side. So I'm kind of balancing all my weight in a couple of different areas. Just standing on the ladder takes a lot of the weight off of the tree because it's just pushing down on the ladder. But all things said and done, it was still, fairly nerve-wracking to be up there. I don't like ladders, and I certainly don't like dead trees. Ready? Now that was intentional. I did not cut it all the way through because I wanted it to hang up in the tree. I wanted it to just sort of flip over, and then I could cut the rest of the way and have it go straight down. If I had cut it all the way and had it drop, it would have given the branch a good jerk. So I wanted to minimize the movement on what I'm tied to. I did the first one, and I did not use the pole saw much at all. I got to admit, Jorge's much better at the pole saw than I am. I have a bit of a shoulder injury, so working that pole saw the way he does, it hurts. So he decided to do this one. And it's lunchtime. We got it done. It's all done. You know, sometimes you get into a job and there are so many ways that you can do the same job. 10 different guys will do it 10 different ways. And who's to say what's the best way or what's the right way? But the way that doesn't cause any damage is always the best way. No damage. Oh, this poor tree. Hey, check it out, man. I found that 10mm socket I've been missing.